Welcome to Resume Love. My name is Sherry Platt, and I am the founder of the STEPS Career Academy. For the past 20 years, I have been both a recruiter and a career counselor. And during that time, I have screened, reviewed, and written thousands of resumes. So you'd think at this point I'd be sick to death of resumes, but I'm not. I actually enjoy helping people tell their professional stories, and I hope by the time we're done with this seminar, you'll share the same resume love. When clients come to me for resume guidance, they want to dive right in, but unless you are certain about what your next job is going to be, the resume planning comes last in the process. That's because the resume is about where you're going, not where you've been, and your past work experience should really just be used to support your future desired outcome. I cannot express enough how very important it is that you write and are connected to your resume so that it's a direct representation of who you are and what you want. Now, this may seem esoteric, but resumes hold your energy and intention. And if you hate doing your resume, that energy is going to be reflected in the resume. If you embrace resume writing with positivity and curiosity and excitement about what's coming next, then the resume will be far more attractive. So before you spend hundreds or thousands of dollars paying someone else to write your resume, just breathe and follow the directions in this video and take the time to write the resume yourself. The more connected you are to this process, the more prepared you will be for your interviews, and the more you will impress the interviewers. Now, the resume is your story to tell. And just as any good storyteller knows, you have to adapt the story to your audience. So this means you will need to adapt your resume for every job that you apply for. Now, what I'm going to do next is going to seem silly, but just go with me on this because I think it's going to help you remember this lesson. The job posting you are reading is telling you exactly what they want from you in terms of responsibilities and desired skills and those qualifications. Just think of them as questions the company is asking you before you send the resume. Welcome to my hand puppets. So think of it like this. This is the job description. Hey, Sherry, do you have over 5 years of experience as a recruiter? Do you know Greenhouse, ATS? Have you worked in tech? And I need to answer, yes, I do. I have over 5 years of experience in recruiting. Yes, I know Greenhouse. And yes, I've worked in tech for over 15 years. Yay! But the sad truth is that most people answer, I love spaghetti and meatballs. I kid you not. As a recruiter, most of the resumes I reject never answer the questions that my job description has been asking. I spend so much time digging through the endless amounts of irrelevant information, explaining all the stuff I really don't care about, that I finally give up, reject, and move on to the next resume. On average, resumes only have 7 seconds to make an impression, sometimes less. So please tell me what I need to know up front and in simple terms so I can move you forward to the next stage of your interview. By the way, recruiters want to like you and your resume. Our jobs are to fill jobs, so hiring managers are happy and our quotas are met. The more qualified candidates we can find to fill our jobs, the better. So please follow these tips and make the lives of recruiters easier so your job search is more successful. Now, I'm going to share with you resume templates I recommend and why, because I really want you to be empowered to make the changes as necessary. And while resume formats largely stay the same, they do change and evolve over time. And a recent college graduate will not have the same resume as a more experienced candidate. For example, for years, references available upon request was mandatory, and now it's considered outdated if it's on your resume. The templates I'm about to share are easy and effective. Here, let me show you. So the very first template we're looking at is for more experienced candidates. It's very simple. First name, last name, email here, LinkedIn profile, make sure it's hyperlinked so that when I click on it, and I will click on it to check your LinkedIn profile, it goes directly to LinkedIn. And then your cell phone. Sometimes it's good to put a location. Now that we've gone remote, it's okay for you to put maybe the city and the state that you live in, but it's not as required as it used to be. The very first section, and probably the most important, is the professional profile. This is what you're going to adjust and make specific to every job description you do every single time. In fact, sometimes I copy and paste the job description and put it here just as a reference point, and then I eliminate it once I've hit the highlights. So describe your experience and skills directly related to the job description, and you really only need 4 to 5 bullet points. Now let's talk about what happens next. When a recruiter is looking at a resume, the first place we go is the professional profile. The next place we're going to go is right here to dates. We're going to want to see what your work history looks like and how relevant it is. You do not have to put months in with the year. It's helpful if you've been there short term, but really we just need year to year. The next section, is going to be a professional experience. And my recommendation is if that you haven't worked for a well-known company like Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc., start with the job title, because again, my eye is screening your resume as fast as possible, professional profile, dates, and now I'm going to look at job titles. Are the job titles consistent with what I'm looking for in someone for this role? So job title first, company second, and sometimes I like to add a description of the company, because they may not know how that company is relevant to their company. And so just a little sentence about what the company is will be helpful. And this section here is where you start to add your achievements. You can add numbers, and it's often helpful to have it highlighted by bullet points, but not too many bullet points because that just hurts the eye. So this is basically a very simple template. You're going to have your education down here, college name, city, state. Now, no dates of graduation are necessary. I get this question a lot because it may influence whether or not your resume gets reviewed. And of course, we can't help also with the bias that comes out. So just to create as clean a template as possible. This is a good section for your certifications, green belt, black belt, not like in karate, but in project management certifications. Any additional certifications, this is a good place for it. Now, I still see sometimes people add skills down here. Again, we don't want skills at the bottom. We want skills at the top, and we only want skills that are relevant to the job. Now we're going to move on to an early career resume. Very similar in that first name, last name, email, LinkedIn profile against hyperlinked, phone number, and the city of where you live. Now, because it's very likely you don't have a lot of work experience, we're going to lead with your education. So very simple, Bachelor of Science, this is an example, Bachelor of Science in Accounting. If recent, you can include the grad date. So if you're a recent graduate, it is appropriate for you to put a date because we're sending a message to the employer that you have recent experience, but it's most likely going to be in the classroom setting or internships. You can, if you've graduated, your GPA is impressive, you can add it. If it's, not impressive, you can leave it off. And here you can add your honors, international experience. You can also add a section for relevant coursework or skills. When I say relevant, I'm referring to relevant to the job. Don't just slather on all the skills and all the coursework you've taken that you're proud of. Make sure it's relevant. This top section is your version of the professional profile in an early career. So also, you can add relevant projects that you feel really good about, and again, build your story towards the employer in terms of your competencies and your experience. Now, under experience, it's okay to include part-time jobs while going to school. It's really good for people to see, recruiters, hiring managers to see that you have a work ethic. So if you worked at Domino's Pizza and delivered, and that's your experience, add it. Don't be embarrassed by it. Own it. Same thing, dates on the side, job title first, company section next, and then again, give a brief description of your accomplishments and what you've done. It is okay for you to also add volunteer or internship experiences. That goes without saying, but I like to have it here as a reminder. Now, the next section is my resume. I think it's helpful for you to see what it looks like in action. And this is what I call a comprehensive resume. I have all of my experience here, but if I apply for a job that I feel they may not care if I have a knowledge of recruiting technologies, I would remove this. But as you'll see, I have highlights of professional experience. I have the highlights that I think employers are going to be most interested in terms of my recruiting, dates on the right. I want to go just a little bit more down here because I want you to see the non-recruiting experience as well. Notice the dates. They are annual, 2014 to 17, I have the name of the school where I worked underlined, just so that it's highlighted, and my education at the bottom. So this is a good example. It's clean, it talks directly to the job description, and it makes it very easy for the recruiter to see that I am actually qualified for the position. I hope that was helpful. I am frequently asked about other versions and templates that are fancier than the ones I just shared with you. And honestly, fancy and creative only matters a lot when you're applying for designer or creative jobs. Other than that, keep it simple and make it easy to read. So now let's address some of the biggest questions people have about their resumes. Let's start with, do keywords matter to applicant tracking systems? No. In all of my years of recruiting and using various applicant tracking systems, I have never experienced using keywords to reject or accept a resume, nor have any of my associates. This is kind of a bizarre myth that is perpetuated by people who are not recruiters and don't use applicant tracking systems. I do use keywords in Boolean searches when using LinkedIn to find passive candidates, but again, not in an applicant tracking system. But what I do live by as a recruiter are those professional profiles. If they are good and relevant, I'm going to move you through to a recruiter screen. And if you make me dig too deep when screening your resume, I'm very likely to reject you. So I get this one a lot too. Do I need a cover letter? You only need to provide a cover letter if it's specifically requested. However, you may find on some applications they want a brief reason as to why you're interested in the role and why you think you're qualified, and you should be prepared to answer those questions. You can use a version of your professional profile to do so. Do I have to have a one-page resume? No. It's very okay to have a 2-page resume, but never go over 2 pages. Although I will tell you, it's the first page that's going to pack the biggest punch and make the biggest impact. The second page is just used mostly as a way to support your professional journey. Should the dates of graduation be included? Now, we just talked about that. For most of us experienced candidates, no. I don't think it's necessary to include your dates of college graduation on your resume. Your work history is the most important story to tell. However, if you're a recent college or high school graduate, the answer is yes, because you want to tell the employer why you don't yet have a lot of professional experience. Who should review your resume? Well, let me make your life a little bit easier. Stop asking different people for resume advice. You will make yourself crazy changing and rearranging your resume. It is helpful to have someone review your resume for spelling and grammatical errors, but other than that, stay away from advice that comes from anyone that has not been in a job search in the past 2 years, professors who have only been academics, mom, dads, and friends, even career coaches who have not worked professionally in the world of work, resume writers who are certified and also have no professional work experience and have never hired anyone before. The only other people to take advice from are other professional recruiters or anyone who works directly for the company you are applying to, because they actually know what the employer is looking for. Do I need a new email address? Well, if you're still using Hotmail or Yahoo or your school email address after you graduated, then yes, you're going to need to update. Also, be aware of funky, cute, or overly personal addresses that may act as a warning sign to employers. I hope you've enjoyed Resume Love and that you feel empowered to begin your resume writing adventure. Now remember, resume writing is about learning to resume a love for yourself and the experiences you've had up to this point and the goals you hope to attain in the future. Thinking about yourself in a positive light will encourage others to do the same. We have lots more in store for you here at the STEPS Career Academy. Be sure to check out our website for upcoming live seminars and recorded classes that will help you with career clarity and job discovery. Thank you for attending our Resume Love seminar. If you would like copies to the templates, just reach out to us here at hello@thestepscareeracademy.com. And let's start making the world of work your playground.